What is overpopulation? Overpopulation is an undesirable condition where the number of the existing human population exceeds the actual carrying capacity of Earth. Overpopulation is caused by a number of factors. Growing advances in technology which is coming here have affected humanity in many ways. One of these has been the ability to save lives and create better medical treatment for all. A direct result of this has been the increased lifespan and the growth of the population. In the past 50 years or so, the growth of the population has boomed and turned into overpopulation. In the history of our species, the birth and death rates have always been able to balance each other and maintain a population growth rate that is sustainable. However, none of this could have a dent in the population. Developing nations for the problem of overpopulation more than developed countries, but it affects most of the earth as of now.
Let's define overpopulation first. Overpopulation is the condition of being populated with excessively large numbers. Overpopulation is the state whereby the human population rises to an extent exceeding the carrying capacity of the ecological settings. In an overpopulated environment, the number of people might be more than the available essential materials for survival, such as transport, water, shelter, food, or social amenities. This regularly contributes to environmental deterioration, worsening in the quality of life, or even the disintegration of the population.
More people means more production, consumption, and destruction of nature. In order to supply shelter to the growing population, forests are being cut down rapidly and production has been increased by destroying the soil quality. It is a situation whereby people living in an environment increase the number of resources available to meet their basic needs, such as shelter, drinking water, food, and many more. These are the common sources or causes of overpopulation. Number one is poverty. It is a common thought that extremely impoverished areas are most likely to be overpopulated. There are various reasons for that, but the most crucial factor is that they can barely afford basic needs, so it is hard to expect to have access to any contraceptive. It is believed to be the major leading cause of overpopulation. The United Nations or UN has predicted that the 48 poorest countries in the world could be responsible for doubling from 850 million population in 2010 to 1.7 billion in 2050. A lack of educational resources, awareness, and sex education resulted in impoverished areas seeing large boomers in population. Number 2 is migration. Unequal distribution of the population also brings chaos in a particular area. Every person wants to spend his or her life in cities where they can have a better lifestyle, education, job opportunity, and necessary infrastructure. In order to acquire these facilities, people migrate from one place to another. This is why there is a larger population in urban or city areas than a village or rural area. Likewise, many people prefer to move to developed countries like Canada, the United States, the UK, European countries, and Australia for better opportunities and facilities. The result is that there will be more demand for food, clothes, energy, and homes, which will eventually lead to a shortage of resources. Though the overall population remains the same, it affects the people's density, making the place simply overcrowded. Number 3. Better medical facilities. After World War II, the world population has drastically increased. Advances in medicine, science, and technology has helped to provide better facility and quality of life, which led to a decrease in the death rate. The development of medical science has provided medicine for each disease and also offered many ways out to come up with the illnesses and make people live longer. Various illnesses, diseases, and viruses that took thousands of lives in the past can now be easily cured because of the invention of the vaccines. Number 4 and last is family planning. In most of the rural areas of developing countries, people get married at an early age. Thus, they are likely to get more children throughout their lives. These people are unable to understand the harmful consequences of overpopulation, and lack of awareness prompts them to avoid family planning. Also, lack of education, family pressure, and religious values are some of the factors that are responsible for overpopulation in the world. This kind of problem is more severe in developing countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Rwanda, and etc.
Here are some environmental effects of overpopulation. It is not novel to us that overpopulation does have a negative impact on the environment. The harmful effect of overpopulation is not limited to harming the environment in a single or only one way. There are multiple ways through which overpopulation affects the environment. Here are some. First is farming impact. We all know that humans need food in order to survive, and for getting food, humans are dependent on farming for a very long time. With the advancement of time and with the increasing population, demand for food has risen. There were more mouths to feed than there was food, and to overcome this difficulty, farmers, with the support of government, started cutting the forest in order to increase their holds on land that was fit for farming. As a result of this practice, forests started to shrink at a great pace, thereby damaging the environment and natural habitat of animals at the same time. Farming impacts are not limited to cutting down forests. Only farmers in different parts of the world burn stubble after the harvest of crops. It downright results in a large amount of smoke and population mixing in the environment, which contain toxic chemicals. One infamous example of this is the burning of stubble in the Indian states of Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan. The burning of stubble in the harvest season in this state result in the Indian capital New Delhi becoming the gas chamber. People in the capital face respiratory problem due to the high toxic content of the smoke that comes from the neighboring states. Second is global warming and climate change. Another negative impact that overpopulation has had on the environment is clearly visible in the form of global warming and climate change. Scientists all across the world are worried about the changing global weather cycle and constant rise in the average world temperature. There have been many agreements signed by different countries to control global warming and climate change. One of the major agreements that had been signed by top polluting countries is the Paris Climate Agreement in the year 2016. According to the agreement, the signatory countries are expected to keep their carbon emission in check so as the global average temperature is limited to an increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Next is increased emergence of new epidemics and pandemics. There is a strong correlation between the emergence of new epidemics and pandemics and overpopulation. This case of novel coronavirus is the best example of how overpopulation results in the increased emergence of new epidemics and pandemics. As the population increases, their interaction with animals and their ecosystem increase too. With the growing globalization and international trade and travel, the chances of an increase in the emergence of the new epidemics and pandemics rise significantly. It becomes hard to contain the spread of viruses due to population load.
So These are the possible solutions that can overcome overpopulation. So first is the better education. One of the first measures is to implement policies reflecting social change. Educating the masses helps them understand the need to have 1 or 2 children at the most. Similarly, education plays a vital role in understanding the latest technologies that are making huge waves in the world of computing. Families that are facing a hard life and choose to have 4 or 5 children should be discouraged. Family planning and efficient birth control can help women make their own reproductive choices. Open dialogue on abortion and voluntary sterilization should be seen when talking about overpopulation. Second is education for girl-child. Entrenched gender norms and child marriage further disrupt their access to education. The girl who receives less education is more likely to have children early and vulnerable to exploitation. Moreover, impoverished families are less likely to enroll their female children in school. The third one is making people aware of family planning. As the population of this world is growing at a rapid pace, raising awareness among people regarding family planning and letting them know about the serious after effects of overpopulation can help curb population growth. The fourth is tax benefits or concessions. The governments of various countries might have to come up with various policies related to tax exemptions to curb overpopulation. As we humans are more inclined towards money, this may produce some positive results. So the last one is social marketing. Social marketing has already been started by some societies to educate the public on overpopulation effects. The intervention can be made widespread at a low cost.